Hey guys, good evening. Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Bridgie. How you all doing today? I hope you're doing well. Thank you very much for joining me. If you have not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing. It's the red button down there, and if you hit on the bell sign, you get notification every single time I upload a video. So today I'm sharing with you guys another sad case of imported wife gone wrong. And this time around, the couple are from Cameroon. So this guy that you see on the screen, his name is Chris Takam. He's 49 years old, and he's from southern Cameroon. This was his ex-wife. Her name is Annie Takam, who he went to marry from southern Cameroon and brought her to the US. This couple have 3 children, and they both lived in a city called Cincinnati in Ohio in the US. Now, it is common knowledge that a lot of African men who live in the diaspora do go back home to take a wife. And this is exactly what this man did when he went back to his country of origin, Cameroon, to marry this lady. And they both have 3 children. So the story has it that the marriage was not a very happy one, and they became estranged. And after a while, the couple divorced. And following the divorce, Annie Takem obtained all the ex-husband's property, inclusive of the custody of the children. She obtained the ex-husband's property, which I suppose is the house. And Chris was told by the court to pay a monthly pension to his ex-wife for the upkeep of the children. And according to report, the situation did not go well with Chris. And sometime in June 2019, he put a post on his Facebook page insinuating that he's going to avenge himself. And this is what he wrote on his Facebook page. He said, "Real life lesson. Never let anybody play you. When that happens, everybody will tell you, don't worry, God will make them pay. Don't listen to this BS. Nobody has ever come from death to tell us how it works on the other side. If someone plays you here, make them pay here and now. I don't believe in life beyond death. We live only once, period." As you can see, that's the Facebook post. It has about 346 comments and 29 people shared it. I don't know, maybe the wife didn't see it. As you know, when people are estranged or they are divorced, they usually unfollow each other. But I want to believe that there's somebody that would have seen this post and, you know, perhaps warned her that this man is very bitter and is going to do something. Anyway, fast forward to 2020, and this happened only a couple of days ago. And on the 14th of June, Chris went to his ex-wife's house, or the house they shared together before the divorce, and he called the police. After he finished offing her, he called the police, and before the police could get there, he then went ahead to off himself. So the story is that while they were after they got divorced, that the ex-wife started dating this white man that you can see here. His name is Craig Bryson, and they were having an affair, and she apparently moved him into the house. So Chris was aware of it and was very bitter about it, and he didn't want another man to raise his children. So maybe perhaps that's why he put that post on his Facebook page, because he was feeling very bitter and he wanted revenge. And this is what Craig Bensi posted after the demise of Annie. He said on his Facebook post, he said, "This is my girlfriend of 2 years, Annie. I waved goodbye to her this morning at 9 a.m. Found out at 2 p.m. she was no longer with us. I never met a better woman in my entire life. I will miss you, Annie, and I will always remember and love you." So this is what the boyfriend wrote, and the son, one of the children, who is 18 years old, also wrote a tribute where he said, "You were the last person who deserved this. You really sacrificed for me, my brother and my sister. To see you live this way is heart-wrenching. You were all I had. You were my greatest inspiration, and you really taught me when you were here. I promise to do all to make you proud. As you have said, God always has a plan, and we will overcome because we are only 3 left now. And I need to stay strong for my brothers, sisters, and I love you. Rest in peace, Mom and Dad." So what happened is that it's a typical story of a relationship that has gone bad because the man has gone to Africa to go and import a wife, and we all know that in most cases, this importation of wife does not really work. Look at the beautiful children. They have 3 really beautiful children. Unfortunately now, because of the divorce and subsequently the actions of this man, just deprived these children of having any parent. In one single day, just imagine the trauma of not losing one parent, but losing both of your parents at the same time. This is really, really traumatic for any human being. Much less children who, are just growing. Is really, really bad. Now, there's something I want to point on before I end this story, because a lot of people are having this discussion. Different websites are talking about it, analyzing it, what happened, what would have led the man to behave like this and all that. And one thing I wanted to just point out quickly here is about this issue of house. We all know that a lot of African men, even though they lived abroad for a very long time, still have that African mentality about how marriage is conducted. In Africa, when a marriage ends, the man sends the wife packing. But in most cases in Obodo, when marriage ends, especially where there are children, is the man that will be told to leave the house because of the children. And it's not really because of the wife, but because the children are usually with the woman, and they will look at it and say, okay, the children are used to living in an environment like this. They are used to this way of life and all that. So most judges will award the building to the house to the woman. And in most cases also, if the woman does not have a good paying job that can pay for the mortgage of the house, the man would then be told to carry on paying for that house, even though he no longer lives here. Now, here is where the issue is. When you know that you are no longer with a man, and for any reason, the relationship was bad, whether he was, someone that was abusive or he has the tendency or not, because you never know. It takes only a minute for somebody's brain to flip. It takes just 1 second for somebody to think of something, especially when they feel like they've been cheated, they've lost it, or where am I going to start from? A lot of men will feel like once they lose their house, they lose their children, they lose their family, there's no point living again. And that's why you see, on the rise, every time you see African men, just doing things very drastic. About 33 is the number now. And, that's happened in the US. That has just been offing their wives. Some of them will off their wife, call the police and off themselves. Some of them will not have the courage to go through with offing themselves. They will off their wife and call the police to come and arrest them. Why is this happening? We need to look at this thing very critically. Marriages end everywhere in the world. Why is it that, when it happens in Obodo, especially places like the US, where everybody has access to, before you hear that, they've offed one person, they've done this, they've done that. Why is it happening? I'm just going to say that to you women out there, you know yourself, you know what is important to you. This life, with everything that's just happened recently, you just know that life is just not worth fighting over anything. If you know that your marriage is ending or is ended, no matter whether the court grants you the house or not, when you are in another relationship, please and please do not bring that man into that house, because there's a lot of men will not be able to take it. They will not be able to take it, seeing that another man is living in their own property and now being like a dad or a stepdad to their children. So for your own safety, for the sanctity of your own life, I will advise ladies, if you are listening to me, if you know that you value your life and you value your children, if relationship doesn't work, carry your bag. If you can afford a place of your own, go quietly. Don't drag any property with a man. Do not. I know a lot of people will disagree with me and say, after all, you worked hard, you both worked for it, the woman was working too, she contributed, but is it really worth it? At the end of the day, it's the woman that always end up dying. If it's physically, the man has more power to overpower her, to do something to her. She's not going to be able to defend herself. So when it comes to issues like this, the woman is the one that always loses at the end. I'm sure this Annie would have given anything now to be alive, to look after her children, to see her children grow, than losing her life because of, a man that has just gone mental, just because, the divorce did not favor him, the laws of the country did not favor him, and he feels that, okay, the only way he can get revenge is for him to go and off the woman. Some even go as far as offing the children as well. They don't end with the wife. Look at him. He doesn't, just looking at his picture ordinarily, he doesn't look like the kind of man that, is a violent person or that can do something like, but like I said, you never know. When things like this happen, people go through depression, they go through low moods, and, they can just flip. Their mind will just flip, and before you know it, they start thinking, the unimaginable things because they feel very hurt and deceived. A lot of African men who go to Africa to go and marry feel that, okay, the reason why they are going to Africa to marry is because they can marry women that, is the word is control, that they can control. It doesn't really mean control. It just means a more submissive wife. That's the way I'll put it. They can marry a more submissive girl. That the women in Obodo Oyinbo are not submissive. They learn the ways of the West. They are more whiter than British and American white now. So let me go to the village or let me go to my hometown and go and marry. But it works in some cases when both parties are willing to work hard to build that relationship, to build that marriage, get to know each other, and they sacrifice and able to tolerate. But in most cases, I'm telling you, this wife importation thing is always a disaster. And that's why I always encourage guys who are listening to me, men, African men who are on this platform, that please, if you want to marry within your environment. At least you have that opportunity to date the person. You study the person's character, because when you go to Africa to go and marry, you never know that person, except even if it's somebody that you dated a while ago. People change. You never know. Maybe you've dated them when you were in secondary school or university. 10 years later, you now go back and say, oh, that my ex-girlfriend, she was a good girl. Let me go and marry her. You don't know what's happened to her. So there's no guarantee that when you marry and bring them, it's going to work. It's not to say that when you marry somebody in the diaspora as well, that there's guarantee that it's going to work. There's no guarantee in anything in life. But we find that, increasingly, these, incidents are happening between men who go to Nigeria or go to anywhere in Africa to go and marry and bring the wife, because some of them will use their money or they will take loan to train the woman to go to nursing school, and then when she graduates, they expect that, okay, she's going to be bringing her paycheck or something like that. And if the woman is not forthcoming and say, oh, this is my money, then voila, will start. They start fighting over money, and before you know, the next thing you hear is that the man has done something terrible like this. So ladies, please, I'm advising you, for your own best interest and the interest of your children and for your life, don't fight with a man over property. You see, this life, if God gives us life, everybody will achieve that house that you think that, oh, this house is everything. You can even buy the one that is bigger than that if you are alive. And at the end of the day, you are not going to go with any. It's only one room you can sleep in a house. So why fight with a man over a house? And do not for any reason move in your boyfriend, because men are very jealous. Even when they know that the marriage is over, seeing their ex with another man, this time around is an Oyinbo man. I even read in one of the websites when I was researching the story, that the woman said that the husband was not romantic. So this Oyinbo man is very, very romantic. He's showing her love, he's affectionate and everything. And he really loves her. You can see from the tribute that he paid to her that he was somebody that was, the way women want to be loved, which unfortunately is not all African men that really know how to do that. So, ladies, please, let's be guided though, to avoid all this katakata. Run for your life. These two Cameroonians now, sadly, their family back home now are going to be mourning. The children in the US are thrown into God knows what now. Only God knows if they are going to go into foster care, how their life is going to be traumatized and changed forever, just because of the action of a single person who took a very, very bad decision, momentarily, and it's just destroyed the whole family. So I'm just going to leave it here today with you guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Leave me your thoughts and your comments in the comment section. I'll speak to you in my next one. Thanks a lot. Bye.